Start by standing up and shaking hands with people around you. Make sure you know their names and ask them something different than the hello for a change. Just ask them something, say something to them.
Hi Tom, how are you?
How are you?
Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks again for
You bet.
Okay, folks, the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. It's on the wall if you don't know it by now. Is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
And Len's going to do something special with the singing today.
On your table is a slip of paper. It's close. It's a touch of green coming up, so we're going to sing by Wild Irish Rose. You should know it anyhow. My wild Irish rose, the sweetest flower that grows. You search everywhere, but none can compare with my wild Irish rose. My wild Irish rose, the dearest flower that grows. And someday for my sake, she may let me take the bloom from my wild Irish rose. Okay, I'm going to get from a mic here. You're getting carried away with your Irish. Number 2, America. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the Pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
Thank you, Len and Dave Howdy. Invocation.
Let us take a moment to thank our Creator for all we have been given and for bringing such a fine group of dedicated, enthusiastic Rotarians together. We ask for God's help to give our individual and collective gifts to our community, to regularly refurbish our intentions, to give of ourselves in ways that make a difference, to our families, to our town, to our nation, to a world grown so small it can be explored and conquered with the click of a mouse. To keep our wits during a time of distractions and political uncertainty, to maintain our focus with determination, and with a sense of humor born of the knowledge that we are mortal men and women, and to fuel our work with vigor, stamina, and a hearty spirit. For all of this, and for a few doses of good luck and grace, we give our thanks. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, David. Go ahead and sit down, folks, please. And enthusiastic is the right word. Let's give a round of thanks to Cindy Hawker, our relatively new Rotary Director today. Cindy, thank you. Okay, let's take a look around the table. Do we have any guests that Rotarians would like to introduce? Looking at the tables, I don't see them all, but that's just my eyes more than anything. Looks like everyone's here is supposed to be here by virtue of membership or association. How about junior Rotarians? Jill Moggelson. Jill.
Hi, I'd like to introduce Jeff Luder from Cathedral.
Jeff says, do we sing every week? The answer is yes, we do. Leanne Davis.
It is my pleasure to introduce David Schnell from Tech.
It's my pleasure to introduce Claire Arnold from St. John's Prep, and with her is Joanne Layton.
Hello. Okay, let's see one. Cindy, you want to draw a number so somebody can have the money? Oh, I dropped my ticket. Oh, I didn't. She's got it. What number are we gonna have?
3, 8, 9, 2, 7, 9.
Oh, I missed it by 2. Who's got it? Who's got it? Oh, right over here, Craig Rush gets the loot. Good job, Craig. All right, thank you, Cindy. All right. A couple of notes, anniversaries. Some of you who've been in the club a while. We have Diane Hagelin has been in a year, and Jamie, back there, Hagelin, you've been here a whole year already? Where's the time go, huh?
I know.
Where's the time go? Oh, who's next in the number of years? We have Linda Dorr at 8 years. We have Teresa Borland at 10 years. Renee Starkey at 13 years. And Jim Slender at 24 years. And Len Carlson. How many?
140-something.
45 years Len's been a member. Very nice, very nice. Okay, a couple of pieces of news on your table. There is this folder. Take a look at it. This is the district annual conference. It's down by the airport. It's coming up, and it's going to be coming up during the time that some of us will be going off to the Dominican Republic. What that means is I need some of you to go down there for us, because the president of the club normally attends, and I'll be there for a few minutes or a little while, but then we fly off that same next day. Drew, our vice president, our president-elect is supposed to attend, but he's flying off. And Steve Jewell, our vice president, who's supposed to also attend, is also flying off. Anything to avoid a conference, I guess. Kind of thing here. So take a look, though. It's a lot of fun. You meet a lot of interesting people. Take a look and sign up if you want to. Let me know, because the club will help pay your registration. Okay, so let me know if you're interested and talk about it. It's a lot of fun. You meet a lot of people from a lot of the clubs around our area, which starts from Alexandria, over to Glenwood, down to Wilmer, the Twin Cities, us, St. Michael, over to over to the west. Not St. Peter, but over to the west. I guess St. Peter's in there. Also, I was sent to me a piece of paper that you may have interest in. If you do, ask me about it, I'll give it to you. It is a solar conference, Solar Works in Minnesota conference. This was sent to me by somebody from the University of Minnesota, Clean Energy Resource Team. They're having a solar manufacturer gathering in St. Cloud, March 28th from 1 to 4 in the afternoon. So if you're interested, this was sent out through the Rotary, so I'm passing it just for interest. It is solar talks, solar equipment, people who will sell you stuff, people who will tell you stuff, and there's information available, and it's right down here in St. Cloud. So if you're interested in it, please just ask me and I'll give you this or send you a link. Okay, how about Jerry Hirschfeld? Jerry, you want to talk about a fountain?
Snowmobiling, right? No, fountain.
Fountain. Did I say fountain? A mountain. Well, whatever.
Anyway, just to give everybody a little inside update, our fountain down at Lake George has been submitted to national competition by Bonus School for recognition for the design and the products used in it. And I will be getting a copy of that application, I think today. And Troy and Tim, you should be getting emails, I would believe, of the proposal that's been put together and sent out for national competition. Thank you.
All right, thank you for helping coordinate that. That should be a lot of fun, so we can do that. All right. And let's see, do you have something you want to say over there?
Yes, I'd like to announce that St. Cloud State is going to the Science and Engineering Festival in Washington, D.C. And we helped start this festival for science, which is one of the largest in the United States. And on your table, you will find a card giving all the dates, which is scheduled for April the 26th. Well, yeah, the 27th to the 29th. And we're taking an entourage of people. And last year we were the only university from Minnesota. And this year we got a couple of companies, 3M, everybody now wants to get on the internet. So, and they also appointed me
Carolyn. Very good. Thank you. Steve, you want to talk, or who's going to do it? Steve and Drew, they're pointing back and forth. You. Come on up here so you're on the TV.
Well, you've heard us talk about this before. Now you have a handout. I'd like everybody who's going to go down to the Dominican from the team from the local Rotary Club here, could they please stand so just everybody knows who they are? If you have questions, these are people you should talk to. We're really excited about the team that's going down, and the ambulance that's being shipped down there. We said before, we don't want it to go down there empty. And so here's a great opportunity for club members. If you're not been directly involved in this project, now's an opportunity for you to get involved. Here is the list of things that we're looking for to fill the ambulance. And the other thing that just happened because of timing with programs, it happens to be that on the 27th of March, we will have the ambulance here. And after we have lunch, we'll be going down and actually helping fill that ambulance with some of the stuff that's coming in. So you could help out by finding some of these things. Share this flyer if you want an email version. I can get that to you. We have both my daughter and Drew's daughter are going. They're running drives in each of their respective schools to collect shoes. And but if you have these things, you can bring them to the Community Foundation, or you can bring it to the hotel here. Chris has graciously agreed to have a box available in her office, you said?
Yeah, well, they can just bring them right to the front desk.
Okay.
And they'll know.
Yeah, so starting next week and in the following week when we're filling it, please do what you can and help out. We'd love to have your help. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Steve. And my wife and I is going with us also, and she is fluent Spanish, and so she and I spoke with the doctor who was coordinating this last night, went over some of the details, and I'm very excited for the group coming down. And one of the things that he said their major issue is child malnourishment, child malnutrition. So when you're looking at things, another piece that's on here might be vitamins or something like that for children. But we have to be careful so they don't take them and eat them as candy. But it's still a concept that they'll be doing healthcare. So where we're going and what Drew has set up is going to be a very effective and very helpful tour and talk about and work that we're going to actually do. And I know Jerry is saying, boy, I'd like to go back down again, wouldn't you? That was a lot of fun last year. It'll be a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. Okay, any other announcements, folks?
Well, if I could just add, going along on the trip is Kenzie Kramer, who was instrumental in our trip 15 months ago to the Dominican Republic. And we've invited her to go along, and we would like to help her with the cost of her airfare. So if any of you would like to participate and make a gift, tax-deductible gift to our local foundation, give the check to John, and then we'll funnel the money to get an airline ticket for Kenzie to go down. She was just absolutely marvelous and made that first trip. She will also be an additional interpreter on this trip, and as Marty will attest, having been our interpreter on the last trip, it's a lonely job, and it's nice when there's a couple people that can cover the conversation. So a gift would be appreciated, not required, but funnel it through John, make it out to the St. Cloud Rotary Foundation. Thanks.
Hey, thank you, Jerry. And now, anybody happy? Anybody got any happy bucks there? Come on up, Leanne. The others, come on up. You don't have to wait. You don't have to stand there and wait for me to call on you. Come on up. Oh, she's got more than one.
Lots to be happy about. All right, we have all sorts of things to be happy about at Girl Scouts. I don't know how many of you know, but yesterday was our official 100th anniversary of Girl Scouting. So that's something to be very Also, I'm excited, this is a non-work thing, but I am directing another play this spring for Recording High School during Bye Bye Birdie, so you'll hear more about that. Hopefully you'll come to see it. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we are having a breakfast panel discussion at the Stearns History Museum from 9 to 10, and it's about the 2012, which is the Year of the Girl, and it's also on the To Get Her There campaign to bring gender equity to women in leadership roles within one generation. So if you're free from 9 to 10 tomorrow, for only $5 you can participate in that, watch that panel discussion at the Stearns History Museum. And lastly, we are having our Girl Scout fundraiser Dreams to Reality, which is on Thursday evening, and that is going to be at Blackberry Ridge, and I would love to have some of you there. So if you are interested in coming to that, please see me afterwards. But lots of things to be excited about for Girl Scouts.
All right.
40 reasons to be happy. Birthday month. I looked through my closet this morning to see if I could come up with something that would represent cathedral blue and gold, and this is the best I could do. But my son Stephen plays on the cathedral basketball team. They have a tough playoff game tonight. And I've got a check for $23 for the 23 wins they have excuse me, so far this year. Going forward, any additional playoff win, I'd like to contribute $5 more per win. So hopefully we'll top this amount.
I have a happy buck for, Drew and I went down to Rochester to the President-elect training. And I just want to say that, you know, when you get engaged at the district level, or and this was multiple districts that came together, that this club, the St. Cloud Rotary, is held in very high esteem. We talked to a lot of people have heard about this club, and so the leadership, the past leadership has really just done an outstanding job. And it's a great privilege to be a part of the St. Cloud Rotary and for us to have been at that and represent St. Cloud Rotary. One of the things we learned down there too is, I apologize that the email and the bulletin has not got out quite on time. I'm still figuring out this technology thing, and I spent time with the club runner rep down there, and we're still learning, but I think we'll eventually get it. I did learn one interesting thing, and that is, if you didn't know and you have an iPhone, there's a Club Runner app, so that you can now put Club Runner on your iPhone, and you can actually get all the club members' names, contact information, and be able to get a hold of anybody very easy. You also can get your bulletin on your iPhone and actually eventually watch videos. And then finally, what Drew says, and I think he's right, is one of the best features, wherever you're at, if you want to go to a Rotary meeting, you just press locator, and it will tell you, based on your location, the nearest Rotary meeting and what time they meet. So, great little application.
All right. Roland, come on up.
I have 10 happy bucks.
Oh.
Because it's 10 years ago that I was president and I forgotten all about the training and times were easier. No club runner or something.
How do you say change is good in German? Auf Deutsch.
Wechsel ist gut.
Okay, there we go. All right, anybody else? I'll have $1 for the Girl Scouts. My daughters are Gold Award Girl Scouts. My wife was very active with their groups. And also $1 just because I see the St. Cloud Rocks come back. When I was a kid, we used to go to that old stadium and watch the Rocks and crawl around and just had a great time. So great to see the name is back. And since there's no other business, I'm going to turn it over to John to introduce.
Very good, thank you. You know, as I was walking in here today, I've been in training in a cave all day today. I heard Dave Tripp just yell out and say, you know, this weather just puts me in the mood for gardening. And I'm really sorry, Dave.
I love gardening.
I know you love gardening.
Hands dirty.
But despite that, we're going to talk baseball today. And what better day to do this? And for those of you who are looking for Gary or Scott, they're so busy out there working on the franchise that they sent the person who really is doing things. Wes Sharp is here to join us from the new St. Cloud Rocks baseball team, formerly known as the Riverbats, although not. Wes is from the Minneapolis area, but fell in love with central Minnesota when he went to school at St. Cloud State University. And while in school, he began his career in sports by working for the Riverbats, eventually becoming director of business operations for the club. Soon after that, Wes was given the opportunity to work for the AAA affiliates of the Colorado Rockies in Colorado Springs. Doesn't that sound like a great job out of school? Where he spent one season helping the club earn the AAA Organization of the Year award in 2011. Now he's happy to be back in his home state and joining the Northwood League newest team, the St. Cloud Rocks, as their general manager. Please welcome Wes Sharp.
What a glowing
introduction.
I know, you did a nice job writing it.
Who wrote that? Well, anyway, first off, you guys got it already. My name is Wes. I'm the general manager for the Rocks. I thought it'd be fun for everybody. Most people haven't seen all the logos, so I put all of our logos, our primary, secondary, all of them up here so people can kind of check them out as we talk here. But is it not baseball weather out there today already? Which is really cool. I even come from Colorado where it's like this all the time, which is kind of sad to think about. But I think it's warmer here than it is there, and that's pretty special to come back and the snow's gone and it's March and spring training started, so there's a lot of really good things, so that's really cool. But anyway, thanks first of all for having me. I know a lot of the things that you guys do, and even hearing about the Dominican Republic trip that you guys are taking, you guys do some really special stuff, and for us, we really take a lot of pride in being part of the community and threading ourselves in this community, and who else does that better than you guys? So thanks for having me here. And Jim said it, Gary, Scott, and Joe are out doing their own thing right now. They got a million different things going on, as you can imagine, but we absolutely had to be here. I was telling somebody earlier, if I had $1 for every person that I know that knows either the Sexton family, the Posh family, or Scott Schreiner, I'd have my own franchise already because I'd be like a millionaire. So. But that's something special. I think that there's a lot to be said to have some local ownership for this club. I just talked about how much of a community organization we want to be. So to have local ownership, I think, is pretty special. So hopefully everyone kind of cherishes that. And if you have relationships for those folks, hey, let them know you're happy to see the club in their hands. And I know they're going to do a great job for everybody. So. But what I really wanted to do today is not take up a lot of your time. I notice you guys are pretty good at singing, so if I get long, just turn it into the Oscars and start singing, or I'll get off the stage. But I really wanted to talk about a few different things. Since I've been in this business, people always ask me, hey, how's the team going to be and what's new this season? This is a pretty quick answer. I've been here for about 3 weeks. I have no idea how the team's going to be. And what's new in 2012? Everything. Literally every single thing is new in 2012. So those answers are pretty easy. But I also wanted to introduce people a little bit more on the Northwoods League. I know people are maybe familiar with the River Bats, but maybe not quite as well versed on what league this is and who's participating in this league. And then finally, I want to finish it off just by talking a little bit about some of our goals and objectives to get in the community. As again, I know you guys are all very active in it as well. So. But let's talk about the Northwoods League. Anybody know how many teams are in the Northwoods League?
16.
Come on, Greg. 16 is correct. Very good. It's a heck of a 1 for 1. That's a great batting average, too. Yeah. So 16 teams in the league. Now, this league isn't very old, so that's pretty special to have 16 teams already. They go as far north as Thunder Bay, Ontario. There's a team in Waterloo, there's a team as far east as Battle Creek, Michigan, and then the bulk of them are here in Minnesota and Wisconsin. So it's a very big league, it's growing. There's a new team in Milwaukee as well, or just outside of Milwaukee, which is pretty cool. So one thing people don't realize, and this is a stat I heard the other day, there is, believe it or not, 50 players in Major League Baseball that came from this league. Now this league is a collegiate wood bat league. These are all college players. These aren't players that are drafted in an unaffiliated club like it was with me in Colorado. These are all college players from all over the country. 55, that's 2 full Major League rosters of baseball players that came from this league. So that's pretty, you're going to see some of the best baseball in the country, hands down, if you come out to a Rocks game this year. So if you flip on a Twins game even, there's a pretty good shot that one of those players that you're watching came from the Northwoods League, and you maybe even saw him a few years ago here at Joe Faber Field. So that's pretty special, and I hope that resonates with people, that 50 Major League ball players that came from this league. So, moving on, the Rocks. Anybody heard of the Rocks before? When we got this deal, we said, hey, we're going to have a new team. We don't even have rights to the River Bats name. We need to have a new team name. Well, what should we do? The first thing for us that, believe it or not, came to mind was we should try and figure out if we can get the Rocks. And to be honest with you, we didn't know if we could or not. So we said, hey, you know what, well, let's open this up to the community. Let's let some folks send us emails and see if they have any other ideas as well. We had over 1,200 names submitted to us. Over 300 of those names were the Rocks. So at that point, we had to figure it out. We found a way. We got it done. The Rocks, as a lot of you know, was a former team. It was an affiliated ball club here in St. Cloud from the 40s to the early 70s. 3 Hall of Fame players. Lou Brock is kind of the headliner for me that I know about that resonates with people here in St. Cloud. Pretty special, but I think the most special thing that's came from it is stories like Jim mentioned is, I can't tell you how many emails and phone calls and even text messages or LinkedIn messages that I've gotten from people that, hey, I remember going to the ballpark, or I remember my parents telling me stories at the ballpark, or I've told my kids stories. It's amazing, and so to be able to hear some of those stories and bring some of those memories back is pretty powerful. So I hope people kind of remember those, and feel free to share. If you see me walking down the road, or I'm probably lost if I'm just walking down the road, but if you run into me at some point and you have those, tell me those stories, because I can't get enough. I think they're great. They're all amazing, so we'd all love to hear them. Going on to what's new in 2012. I think a lot of people have some really fond memories, not only of rock stuff, but of Riverbat stuff. So I say everything's new. We want it to all be new, but what we do at the ballpark isn't going to change. This business model isn't going to change. I worked in Colorado Springs, as they mentioned. We won the Organization of the Year. That's a top award in minor league baseball. And the business model and what they do there, it's exactly the same as it is here. It's good, wholesome, affordable family entertainment. So that piece of what we do, you know what, that's not going to be new. But everything else at the ballpark, we want to be new. From the time you park your vehicle over at Faber Field, I called the city, I got that construction done, so we don't have to worry about that. I'll take tips for that later on the way out. So you walk into the ballpark, you park your vehicle, you take a step out of your vehicle. From that moment on, we truly want it to be a new experience at the ballpark and have something fresh. Maybe it's a band out front, maybe it's some new signage, it's dressed up, it's got some red, white, and blue, some Americana that really needs to be at a ballpark. We want that to be there. Maybe you go to the game and you're coming to the game and you're with your kids and they get a new giveaway, a new baseball glove. How about that? We want to do a baseball glove giveaway this year. Every giveaway we want to do, we want it to have a very high value to it, a glove, a hat, an actual jersey. Those things are pretty special, so we're going to give those away. So that's new at the ballpark. You come in, you walk in the lobby, there's going to be a little bit dressed up gift shop now. The gift shop's going to look nicer. The lobby's going to look nicer. So you go in, you go through, and you go and you find your seat, and you've got your hot dog, and you've got your beer, and you're enjoying the game, and the second inning ends, and well, what do you do now? Well, there's going to be new on-field promotions. We want every single on-field promotion to be new and different this year, a truly new experience. So if you're not a baseball fan and you're at the game, well, now you've got 2 guys in sumo suits trying to run into each other. I don't care who you are, that's going to be pretty entertaining. So those are the things that we want to do, and we want to bring back and breathe that new life into the ballpark. And that goes all the way from the time you step foot out of your vehicle to the time you get back. We also want to do fireworks every single Friday night. So if you want to do something on a Friday night, how about going and catching one of the biggest fireworks shows you're going to see all year for $6 to come watch a ball game, get 2 hours of entertainment, and then catch a great fireworks show. That's pretty cool. Every Friday night at the ballpark, we're going to be doing that. So again, we really want a new experience, but our business model hasn't changed. We want it to be affordable for you. We want it to be easy for you to get to the ballpark. We want your kids to feel comfortable running around, and you feel comfortable having them run around and doing whatever else they want to do at the ballpark. And feel free to buy as much cotton candy and peanuts as you want to. Those will be around as well. So we want to do some new stuff, but we're not going to change kind of the concept of what we do at the ballpark. So finally, the last thing I really want to touch on is some of our community involvement. I mentioned earlier, I can't say it enough, we take a lot of pride in threading ourselves in this community as much as we possibly can. So I'm just going to touch on a few different things that we do that hopefully people kind of respect and think is pretty cool. The first thing is our roster. I haven't even had a chance to catch up and see who is on our team, but I know from day one of our concepts and one of the things we've told our field managers doing a lot of our putting together our roster is, look, we want good people first. We want people that can come to Rotary meetings and can go somewhere else and talk to people and really represent our ball club. So we're going to have good people first, good ball players second. Another project that we're working on right now is our reading program. And this is something that the Riverbats used to do as well. So we've taken it, we've adjusted it, tweaked it a little bit, and we're going to do a reading program. As I left the office today, this actually needs to be updated because I got a phone call on the way over that we got more. But when I left, we already had 32 classrooms totaling 3,600 students that are going to get rewarded with Rocks tickets, Rocks prizes, and a savings bond to go to their college education just for reading outside the classroom, kind of presented by us. So I think that's a pretty cool thing, a pretty powerful thing, and we fully expect it to be over 5,000 kids by the time we're done with it. Youth clinics. We want to do at least 10 youth clinics this summer all around central Minnesota. So not just in St. Cloud, maybe it's in Albany or Melrose or somewhere else, but we want to get our ball players out in the community and in front of kids and teaching them how to play baseball. And I've done some of these before, and little Susie comes up and little Susie doesn't even have a glove. But you know what? She has the time of her life for an hour and a half learning how to play baseball from these guys. We want to do those things. Silent auctions, donation type stuff. I've already had a couple people ask me about that. That's something we do a ton of. I fully expect us to have over $5,000 worth of merchandise, tickets, everything by probably halfway through the year donated to people around the community. That's pretty cool too. And then our fundraising concept, and I've got some sheets here if anybody has any requests for this, but I know how involved you people are, so I think this is a good thing to bring to you. We want to do something that I've done. I know Scott's done a lot of this, probably more than I have, but I did it in Colorado as well. Is if you've got a group, and let's say you've got 100 people in that group, and it's a volunteer group, and what we're going to do is we're going to give each group member, they have to sell 10 tickets for $6. If you can't sell 10 tickets for $6, you haven't been doing enough volunteering. So 10 tickets for $6. Of those, you're going to get $2 per ticket. So if you've got 100 people, all they have to do is each sell 10 tickets. You come back to us, they all get to enjoy a ball game, and you just made $2,000 for your group. It's that easy. So that's a fundraising concept that we have that we're introducing this year, that if anybody is looking for ways to raise some money for an organization or some kind of nonprofit, let me know. I've got a great way to do it very, very easily and very quickly. So that's what we have going on. I hope you guys enjoyed the new logo and the new look. And right now we've got merchandise for sale. We've got season tickets for sale. We've got group options for sale, and then obviously some sponsorship options if you want to be seen in that community light that we're having. So if that's all I've got, hopefully somebody has some questions that I can answer. But again, I wanted to kind of introduce who we are and what we are and what our plans are in 2012. So thanks.
When you bring the players in every year, normally they need housing. What are your plans for that? I know in the past you've had the community involved in housing, and what is the term of that housing, and what do the hostess have to provide?
Very, very good question. We have a very, very great host family coordinator named Sherry Nemec. I don't know if anybody knows the Nemec family or not, but Sherry Nemec does a fantastic job really managing all of our host families. She's kind of our point of contact for everybody. So yes, these kids come in, again, they're college kids from Arizona, Texas, and Florida, and wherever else they come from. They're coming here to get an experience of a lifetime and figure out how to play baseball at the next level. Well, they need somewhere to stay because they're just college kids. So we have host families that take them in. For being a host family, first of all, we're going to take care of you. You get season tickets, you get a list of other benefits that we're going to help you out with. But really, you kind of take in the kid for the summer. So for 3 months, he's going to be crashing at a place for you. You might have to provide breakfast or dinner or let him do his laundry in your laundry room. But what we found is especially people that have kids, this is a great mentoring opportunity for your kids to have a young ball player, a student athlete, a true student athlete in your home, teaching them how to play baseball and then getting up and going to work every day and doing some pretty cool things. So we rely heavily on our host families, absolutely.
I want to comment about the host families, and then I got a question for you. But I've hosted kids, 5 kids in 6 years. I've been to their weddings. I've been to their parents' houses across the country. If you are a younger member of our Rotary here and you got kids at home, it is a great thing. My boys love hanging out with them. My wife talks to them all the time yet today, and it's just a great connection to have. My question is, I always sit in the stand and want a hot dog, but I don't want to go stand down in line for 10 minutes and miss that hit and miss this here. How hard would it be for you to get hockey teams, whatever, to work the stands and charge me 50 cents or a quarter more per hot dog, and I would pay down below, and get some kids vending with their parents, you know, like to get a team every night to come in like you see in other parks and things. Is that something you could work on, or are working on, or thinking about?
One thing we're working on, and I'm sure many of you know this piece of what we do, but we don't run the facility. So as opposed to most Northwoods League teams, And I'll use our friends over at Wilmer as an example. They run their facility, they run the concessions, they run everything. If you even have a high school game or American Legion game at their ballpark, they're the ones that are doing the concessions for it. We, on the other hand, really we don't have that ability. The city of St. Cloud kind of runs the facility, which helps us out in a lot of ways, but it kind of handcuffs us in some ways as well, just to do stuff like that. Now, is it possible? Absolutely, and that's part of what we're trying to do right now in negotiations with getting our lease done for the future, is figuring out what we can do and what opportunities like that are available. I do know there is a new app, speaking of apps, there's a new app that's available that you can text in your order and then someone brings it to you directly. So I don't know if we'll be able to do that this year or not, but I have tested it out. We had that's future for you. So.
What did you and the organization learn when you studied the reasons for the decline in ticket sales and enthusiasm for the old St. Cloud Riverbats? Seemed to just kind of trend downward over the last several years. What did you learn when you looked at that?
Well, I think it's a lot of different things. I think really for step one, that's going to be huge to have local ownership and to be able to really freshen and liven things up. I think you can only run the same show so many times before people want to see a different show. And on the past 3, 4, 5 years, when it's really been time to not necessarily reinvent yourself, but have something new, refresh, get a breath of fresh air in the ballpark, it hasn't happened. And I think our business model is we know that every year we're going to have to do something and create something to continually have that buzz. And we want to be able to continually give people reasons to come out to the ballpark. And it can't be the same reason every year, which I think maybe kind of fell in the way it was in the past. So again, I mean, there was a long train of success here with that organization, and they did a great job. But when it was time to update and renovate and change some things, it didn't necessarily happen. I think that, and it doesn't take long. I mean, it's a snowball effect once that starts to happen. I think you saw it over the past 3, 4 years. So,
are you planning on bringing any of the history or the story of the Rocks to the stadium, kind of memorabilia, stories, kind of to partner with what you're doing?
Yeah, that's a question we've got a lot of. We've got a couple things in the works, especially over the next 3 or 4 years. I think part of it for us is we've got so much going on this year that it's going to be tough to do that and history and some of these other things. So long term, absolutely. We've got some really special things that we want to do and would like to do. And I know we still have our hands on some, which maybe some of you have seen at the Riverbats game, some retro Rocks jerseys that are the black and orange, and they're Giants affiliates. They got the whole baggy pants and the whole nine. So things like that we might be able to do in year one, but then down the line, absolutely, we want to be able to tie into as much history as we possibly can.
The Cape Cod League has historically been the elite league for college players in the summer. How does the Northwoods League compare to the Cape Cod League at this juncture?
Again, very good question. The Cape, I want to say the Cape's been around for over 100 years, which is pretty special in its own. With this league, I don't even think it's over 20 years old yet. So to be even in the same conversation is pretty impressive. Where we rank, I'd say without a doubt this league is, as far as talent-wise, the second best league in the country behind the Cape Cod League. Baseball America, every year, who's kind of the known publication in the baseball world, if you don't know that. Baseball America comes out with their top summer league prospects at the end of each summer. I think for the Cape Cod League, they do the top 50. For the Northwoods League, I believe last year they did the top 25. Every other league in the country, and there's hundreds of these leagues, top 10. So that tells you right there that the Northwoods League is gaining ground fast. So that's just on the baseball prospect side of it. On the what we produce side, no other league has nearly as many fans, has nearly the facilities, or plays nearly the type of travel schedule that we play. So we are by far the closest to an actual minor league or major league ball club as far as the league goes in the country, no doubt about it. No one gets close to our attendance out there. Cape Cod has like 100 fans a game. Great baseball though. So it's a little bit of a balancing act for us, and we're definitely gaining on them.
How are the players chosen or drafted or distributed to each of the different teams?
It's really, a lot of it is a relationship basis. Because our league has now gotten known to be such a good talent league, that we have coaches pounding down our doors that say, hey, I got kids on my team that are good enough to go out there. Because these kids need to, first of all, they need to play somewhere in the summer. But it's gotten to the point where the coaches know what kind of talent it takes to be able to play in this league. So we'll have, and you just build relationships. So I'll have the Cal UC Berkeley coach call and say, hey, I've got a shortstop for you, and maybe I'll call the Washington State coach and say, hey, Cal said they got this good shortstop, and you guys are in the Pac-12. Have you seen him? What do you think of him? Is he a good player? And they'll say, yeah, he seems like a good kid. He seems like a good player. And then next thing you know, we got ourselves a shortstop. So it's a lot of people sending recommendations, and you do some cross references, and it gets to the point where, and I use Cal because Tony Arnerich is one of the coaches out there who was a bats coach forever and a true staple in the community. So here, so he's a good example to use. But so now you get to the point with these relationships, they call you and say, hey, I got a shortstop. Say, all right, sounds good. Is he a good kid? Is he going to be home on time and not be out late doing things he shouldn't do? Yeah, okay, well then let's sign him up. And so once you build those relationships, it's pretty easy, and every team kind of does the same thing. Anybody else? Perfect. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys are at least half as excited as I am about Rocks baseball and what the future holds for this organization. It's going to be a heck of a summer out there. It all starts on June 2nd. So any other questions or anything? I've got business cards. I've got everything you might need over here. So and thanks again for allowing me the time to come out here and kind of tell our story. So thank you, and enjoy your afternoon.
Good fun. Now I know where the old Rock Stadium was. Do any of you? Jerry, you must remember where the old Rocks was.
I saw Luke Brock.
You saw Luke Brock out there. Okay, that's a time back then. It was where? The old Byerly, the new Byerly store is. Where Byerly's is. That was where the stadium was. Justin, you weren't even born at that time. We know that. You turned into dollars. Okay, John Bodette, future meeting.
Next week we have somebody who's a visiting scholar out at St. John's, and John Cromie. Yeah, he's going to talk about housing foundation that he does. So
and I'm going to put a pitch in for him. I've known John for a number of years. He is vice president of what's called a non-governmental organization. You've heard about an NGO. And they travel the world. They have people in Afghanistan. In fact, one of their workers was shot dead by an assassin last year. They have people in Iraq. They have people in Guatemala. They teach the very basic parts of community building, among other things. For example, he said one of the groups of women that he's working with, and they work with the women because it's more helpful if they get farther, we were teaching them how to bid for a road work and to open the envelopes in front of everybody. And people could not understand why you would open the envelopes in front of everybody, because if you did, then everybody could see what each person bid. And they couldn't understand why you would do that. We're talking about very basic community building. John is a fascinating fellow. I think he'll be a great speaker, and look forward to, I personally will be hosting him for dinner and stuff, but I also encourage you to come out and look forward to what he talks about, because he has a very interesting career work that he does. And then 2 weeks from now, we're going to be doing what?
Fill the ambulance.
Fill the ambulance. Start buying when you go to the grocery store or you go to the Walmart or Target or something. Buy some extra color crayons, whatever's on the list. Buy some vitamins and bring them along. Put them in there. Jerry, you're going to let us know what happens with that fountain?
Absolutely, yeah.
And let us know if we get an award for that. That'd be kind of fun to see. Any other business for the good of the club at this point? None? Then we stand adjourned. Thank you all and good afternoon.